hardest you ever heard. Ain't this the hardest you ever heard? Bass make my face hurt. Shake break my framework when the bass jerk like quick earth. Oh my God. Just like that.
Excuse me for a second here. I want to hop right into it. We're going to get to the game. Believe me. I'll leave these on. Forget it. If you guys got a glare, I apologize. See the light in the background. But try to keep my head down a little bit. So we're going to talk about Monday night's game. But first, I want to get into our good pal, Eric Flowers, part 2, if you will. Evan Neal. A guy that clearly doesn't understand that the fans are part of the reason he gets paid. Probably a main part of the reason he gets paid. And I got to take these off. I don't want you guys looking at the glare. I apologize. So basically what he had said was, keep booing. I'm fine with that part. But then he goes on to say, kind of doesn't matter because all the fans booing are basically fair weather fans. And why should a lion worry about sheep? I'm not going word for word here. I'm kind of throwing it in. And then he basically said that, all the fair weather fans, we're all probably basically just, hot dog and hamburger flippers. But again, us fans are part of the reason he's getting his paycheck. Not the full reason, but a big part of it. So if anything, I think he dug himself a hole. Am I willing to trade the kid yet? We'll find out at the end of the season. I want to give him his whole second season here and see if he does get better. He hasn't proven anything yet to me. In fact, when your rookie, John Michael Schmitz, is doing a way better job than you did in your rookie year or even so far in your second season, I find that to be an issue. I find that to be a major issue. But again, it's his second year. Let's give him a chance to prove himself. There's a lot going on with the Giants' offensive line, and let's just see what happens. I mean, are we pissed as fans? Hell yeah, we should be. I don't understand how players get upset that fans are upset because they're playing like shit. I'm never going to understand that. And then when they make comments like that, this is why sometimes players don't get paid properly. This is why players aren't necessarily end up on the same team the following year. In other words, being traded or let go in some matter. This is what really gets players in trouble. And after that comment, I can almost guarantee that Brian Daboll is ripping him a new asshole right now, because I know I would. How about you shut up and play? How about we try that? Because if you play properly, even if we don't get wins, and I know I'm going to piss people off by saying that, even if we don't get wins, and you can show that you've improved, that it not necessarily is your side of the line's fault or the line in general, because again, John Michael Schmitz is outplaying all of the guys on our line, and every one of our guys on our line is a second year or better veteran. So you got a rookie out playing you guys. So if you want fans to stop booing you, put a better product out there. Because I can guarantee you, if your team was doing as poorly as our team has done over the past 10 years or so, then you'd probably boo too, Evan. I'm sure you'll take the high road and say you won't. But you're getting upset with the fans when clearly you need to get upset with your play, with your team's play, with your quarterback's play, with your coaches, with your assistant coaches. But you want to blame the fans for your poor playing? Not saying that you did, but that's essentially what you're getting to. You don't need us. We won't talk about the thousands upon thousands of Alabama fans that cheered you on. How much people praised you as the best lineman coming out of that draft. And yet you still fell to number 7. But again, I'm not taking anything away from you. 7 is a high pick. You were highly touted to be one of the best linemen in the league, possibly. And again, I'm giving you your credit here. I'm giving you your respect. Let's see what happens by the end of the season. If you get better and better, and by the end of the season, the last 3-4 games of the season, you're holding up your side of the line the way you should, then I'll back off. But to sit here and call out fans because we're booing a poor product, let me ask you this, Evan. If you buy something at a Best Buy or any electronics store and it doesn't work, and then you bring it back and they give you the warranty for it, and you bring that home and it doesn't work, and you bring that back, and Best Buy or whoever tells you the warranty only covers one replacement, are you going to be upset with that? Or are you just going to suck it up and be happy that you lost money? Oh, wait a minute. I don't want us burger and hot dog flippers to use something so minuscule, something you bought at, I don't know, Best Buy. Let's get on your level, Evan. Let's get on your level and talk about, I don't know, because you're Mr. Moneybags right now. Let's talk about, you're going to buy a Bentley, and you buy that Bentley, and you pull it out of the driveway after just purchasing this thing. I'm assuming cash because, you're loaded. You're not, you're above us bottom feeders, us hot dog and hamburger flippers, which I don't do, but there's nothing wrong with that because you can make a living at that. But let's say, the wheel of the Bentley falls off. Do you think once you've pulled out of that driveway that you're going to drive back in and go, hey, now, maybe your warranty will cover that, but even warranties have a limitation. So in other words, us fans have had enough of what we're seeing, the product we're seeing out there. After buying a nice shiny penny last year, giving you the benefit of the doubt because you're a rookie and you're going to make rookie mistakes. I mean, hell, most of us Giants fans gave Daniel Jones 5 years and he's still making rookie mistakes. He's going to get booed a lot. Listen, I like Daniel Jones. I really do. I've been pulling for this kid, but I'm falling off, man. If I haven't already fallen off that wagon, I'm off or I'm falling off. We're sick of it. We're sick of it. We're putting our hot dog and hamburger flipping dollars into watching a team that doesn't produce. That'd be like, hold on, let me get on your level again. That'd be like hiring a maid and you get home from your hard work, at football camp or whatever you're doing, whatever day of the week, at your job, because that is your job. And you get home and your maid is sitting there smoking one of your cigars with her feet up, smoking your best scotch or drinking your best scotch with her feet up and goes, I just didn't feel like doing it today. Because that's what it feels like to us fans when you guys are letting happen what's happened. It's upsetting, dude. It really is. It really is. And again, I'm not trying to shit on you, but this is what us fans hear when you say stuff like that. This is what us fans constantly hear when you talk crap like that. And you think we want you around for that? You think that's okay? It's okay for us to boo. We're paying to see a product that's not being put out there. And now we have to look at that product as a scam because we were sold something last year that we wanted to build on this year, and it's nowhere even close to that. Now, again, I didn't expect you guys to get to the Super Bowl. In fact, I'm one of the few people that said, you know what? Let's just get more wins than we did the year before. Let's just do that because then it shows baby steps. And I would have been fine with that last year. But you guys sold us a false hope. You guys sold us an empty box of Skittles or empty bag of Skittles. It's not cool, dude. I wouldn't make comments like that. It can cost you your career. And again, I'm not talking from us Giants fans in that aspect. You think owners and coaches like to hear that stuff? Like I said, Dable's probably ripping you a new one if he hasn't already. All right, let's move on a little bit here. Let's get over to Daniel Jones. And the reason I'm upset with Daniel Jones is I'm totally with everybody 100%. Daniel Jones is not getting the time. Not getting the time at all. And he's getting crushed from every side you can think of. Up the middle, on the right, on the left, coming out of the pocket. And we'll get to that in a minute. Or lack of coming out of the pocket. Specifically when 2 weeks in a row, the team that you're going against basically calls you out for what you're still doing. I forget the kid's name, McLean or whatever his name was, that had the pick six, that had another pick in the game off of you. I think he had a sack or two, something. He had some good stats against you, Daniel. And he basically told you what the 49ers did the week before, that they know what you're going to do. Do you want to wake up and see that, bud? Again, I'm hurting here, man, Daniel. I've been backing you for the last 2 years. I was shitting on you a couple years before that, but then some friends made me understand that, it's not necessarily his fault. He's got all these coaches and all these GMs and all these different players and new players coming in, and I get all that. But the stuff you should have cleaned up by now, because, again, you're in year 5, the stuff you should have cleaned up, I'm still saying. I understand you're scared and you're going to look on, your first progression, and that's 9 out of 10 times where that ball is going to go. And I get it. But I'm telling you right now, before halftime, we're sitting up in the stands because I was at the game, and we're calling the plays because those are the only plays that we're working. And guess what happens when they see those plays over and over again? Now, this might not be a Daniel Jones issue, but where I think it is in this aspect is because he should be able to change the plays at the line if he's seeing something. But again, one of the things that Daniel Jones has not improved on, and that's reading a defense. All we did was throw checkdowns. I understand you're looking to find somebody and you couldn't, they couldn't get open. I'll give you that. They couldn't get open. Or your line's not holding up, which we clearly saw. But there were a few times when you got out of the pocket. I can remember one play specifically. Now, I don't know what you see on field level, but you have one of, if not the fastest guy in the league, downfield with his hand in the air all alone. All you have to do is chuck it up past him. Because between you and him, there's a few players. So you chuck it up in the air, you give him a chance. Even if you overthrow him, you're giving him a chance. We didn't get none of that. Could that have something to do with the offensive line? Yeah. But what about the times when you got out away from that offensive line, when you got away from the sacks? Okay, that's number one. How about this? Number two, how about when you come out of the pocket and you see that there's no clear lane for you to run, instead of running out a yard or two less than the scrimmage line, how about you keep those yards and just toss the ball out? I mean, it's as simple as that. If you haven't learned these few things, and there's a few more, but I want to get to other things. If you haven't learned those simple things, like throwing the ball away, like not staring down the guy you're going to throw it to, about making better decisions once you're outside of that closing line that's destroying a lot of what you're trying to do. And again, this is why I blame the whole team. It's not just Daniel. It's not just this person, that person. It's the whole team. You got to stop making these rookie mistakes. And that's exactly what they are, rookie mistakes. And I'm getting a lot of feedback because people defending Daniel Jones. And listen, I was one of them, but I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not. These are rookie mistakes. Rookie mistakes. You're in year 5. These are things, even with the shitty teams that you had, Daniel, even with the shitty teams that you had, these little things that I'm talking about are things you should have learned, even in losing, even in, whatever. Even last year, we had a great year. Don't get me wrong. And I say great because, again, no one expected us to get to the playoffs. Certainly not me. And especially win a game. You guys surprised the hell out of us. But even during last season, there were times when the rookie mistakes were still there. And again, you're in year 5 and we can't clean them up. And again, I'm talking even without the offensive line issues. There were times when you had a few extra seconds in that pocket where you made bad decisions. Like, I don't know, the pick 6 you threw was clearly a bad decision. Because maybe I'm crazy, I didn't see what you were throwing to there. And if you're not staring down the one receiver and you want to tell us that you didn't see the guy, you're basically proving that you're staring down the one receiver. Because you have no field vision, if that's what you're telling us. I don't know what to say. And for anybody that tuned in the Sneaky G-Man show last night, let's talk about that a little bit. Because supposedly, if you listen to, I didn't listen to Boomer and Gio today. My wife came home last night from Puerto Rico and we were doing some stuff. I'm glad she's back, so on and so forth, but whatever. So I didn't get to watch Boomer and Gio this morning, see if there was any rebuttal for what Boomer said. But in case you didn't know, Boomer Esiason basically said that not during Monday night's game, but he had talked to Troy Aikman. And Brian Daboll came up. And Troy basically told Boomer in so many words that Daniel Jones has to be constantly motivated. If you're in your first 2 years and things ain't going bad, I can see you need some motivation. I can totally understand that. But if you're coming off a good year where people were starting to say, wow, Daniel Jones is starting to show us who he is, to your head coach telling us that you have to be motivated, that's all I needed to hear. Because it's one thing if your players call you out. It's another thing if another team calls you out and what turns out to be true. It's another thing if fans call you out. But when your head coach calls you out, when he's on the sideline, everybody kept saying he threw the tablet. He didn't. He dropped it in the assistant's hands. The key that they missed there was him turning around. And as he's turning around, I should have clipped that video and put it here. He's shaking his head as if to say, when are you going to learn? And this was right after the pick 6. Your coach is trying to help you here. The problem is, why does he need to motivate you? Why does anybody need to motivate you? You're getting paid a lot of money to do close to the same job. We're not even asking you to do the same job you did last year. Let's just keep it competitive. I said it last year. I said it the minute we found out what the new schedule is going to be like. And everybody's complaining, oh, man, we got the 3rd toughest schedule in the league. You know what I said? Because of the hope I had for this team after last year? I literally said, like, I want that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that should motivate Daniel Jones. We got the 3rd toughest record in the league. The league thinks that we improved so much that we can stand with these guys. And then your coach has to come out after the 4th game catastrophic piece of garbage you put on the field and tell everyone, or at least tell Troy Aikman, that he has to motivate you? Bro, if I could play line, which I can't because I'm old, but if I could play line in the NFL right now, it's all the motivation I need. So basically, I'm asking, are you basically just saying, I got my bag, do what the hell I want? Because remember, you can only do what you want for 2 years. And you can be sad too, but you'll get paid. That's true. I'm just sick of what I'm seeing. And Daniel, again, man, I'm still pulling for you. I don't want you to lose. I want you to get better. But you're not. Or at least you haven't up to this point. There's no consistency. And another fact that's been brought up is it's not all about Daniel Jones, just like it's not all about Saquon. When the Giants win, it's because they're both playing. They complement each other. They help each other. Matt Breida, I think, would have had a great game the other day if we had a little bit of time. I don't know. Let me read some of the comments here. I got Daryl telling me facts. Appreciate you, Daryl. Because I know, Daryl, we don't agree on everything, and that's one of the things I love most about you. Boston fan for life. I'm assuming that's X. I could be wrong. Austin's in here. You forgot today was Wednesday. That's no excuse. What did he say? So he's just another drama queen. I assume you're talking about Evan Neal, and I would say yes. Evan Neal not built for Giants media. That's true. That's true. I'll give you that. I never was on that Danny Dimes wagon. I hated the pick from day one, but I was excited. Excited for it because I'm a Giants fan. I hope I read that right, and it doesn't tell me who it is. I'm not going to assume who it is, but if you can, just drop your name in here, and I'll give you the credit. I don't know if this is another Facebook user or the same one. It says, when he gets the time, he still can't make a pass downfield. That's true. But again, could that be because he's afraid? He's almost expecting to get hit, which I could understand. I really could. Hey, how's it going? Austin, I see you. Again, Facebook users basically saying, I'm saying facts. Same here. It's getting hard to defend DJ. Absolutely. Can you talk on the Neal situation? What's your thoughts about it? I did. And Daryl wants the invite. I'm putting it out right now, guys. So here it comes for you. You want to hop on? I'm ready to get into this because change my mind if you can, guys, or agree with me or disagree with me. I'm fine with it anyway. And at this point, I really want you guys to change. If you're really in here or want to come in to change my mind, please do. Please do, because there's nothing right now I can see. Maybe you can see something I can't. There's nothing I can see that's helping me to believe that Daniel Jones is going to get better, that this team is going to get better, that Evan Neal will shut his mouth and just work and show us. See, that's the problem I have with NFL players. Don't talk about it. Be about it. If he would have just stayed quiet, wouldn't have been a problem. I can just sit here and do what I did, try to defend him a little bit, say, hey, he's in his second year. We got to give him time, man. These things happen. We're only a quarter of a way through the season. Let's see what happens. Again, I'm pissed, man. We're freaking 1-3. We've been outscored in the first half thus far in the season, 77-3. And Evan Neal, tell us what we have to be happy about. Oh, that you came back against arguably the worst team in the NFL? And the reason I say arguably is because we're in that category. The Giants are in that category. But you want to come out of your face and want to make it a fan issue. Well, if that's the case, that sounds like you need to be motivated. I'm just saying, man. I love all you guys. You're Giants. I want to see you do well. But don't come at us, fans, because you're not doing your job. We're doing our job. We're buying the paraphernalia. We're buying these tickets. We're coming to these games. We're spending way more than we need to on this food and the beers and stuff like that. Listen, what I paid for one beer the other night, I could have bought a six-pack here and still had change. But we do it because we love this team. We do it because we love the players. Whether we agree with you or not, we don't want you to fail. If that's not enough for you, and all we are is hot dog and burger flippers, then maybe you need to go play somewhere like, I don't know, Cleveland, where winning hasn't been a big thing. I don't know. Pick another team that's not great. Because if you think it's going to be better than what we're seeing now, it's not. You're in one of the best markets in any sport, in media. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fans because we want our teams to succeed. We push our teams to succeed. We give our team motivation even when they don't need it. And if you don't get upset because we're upset, then you're part of the problem. Let's get into it, guys. My man Daryl's here. Daryl, what do you got, buddy?
Got a whole lot of garbage. Got a whole lot of garbage.
We need somebody to take it out. Somebody's got to take it out because we're not doing it.
Everything you said was the absolute truth. Defense can't tackle. They look like a bunch of kids out there tackling.
Oh yeah. No, actually, I have seen kids make better tackles, and I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm dead serious about that. I saw a midget football league out here. Was it Saturday? And they were tackling better than the Giants did or have this year, to be perfectly honest. The only defensive player I can really see that's really doing it, and he didn't really get penalized or something, but a lot of people say stuff, is Isaiah Simmons, a guy that wasn't even here last year. I mean, did Kayvon stepped up a little?
A little.
I'm not going to take that from him. He had a sack. What do you have, 2 sacks?
Yeah.
I think he had 2 sacks.
Yeah.
But again, he gets up. Now, the first sack, I'll give him. The score was low. Nobody was, I think it was 0-0 at the time. But, I'll give it to him. Do your little dance. It's all fun and games. But what pissed me off, and again, I don't know if everybody saw it on TV, but they put it on the Jumbotron. They, panic. There was like 10 minutes, 11 minutes left in the game, and they pan the cameras over, and you see the defensive players on the sideline. Kayvon Thibodeau's over there smiling like we're blowing, Seattle out of the water. I mean, we've done nothing with the exception of 30 minutes in a quarter of the season. And you're over there celebrating like everything's good. Like, is the money really getting to these guys' heads? Like, I'd really like to know that.
I think he lost the locker room. I think he's lost the locker room.
Who, Daboll?
Yeah.
I think he's lost the locker room because, in my personal opinion, what I'm seeing,
they already gave up, Anthony. Huh? They gave up. They gave up.
I get that, but I mean, you can't say that Daboll gave up because he's on the sideline getting in Daniel Jones' face.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Daboll gave up. I'm saying that team gave up on him. That's
on Daniel?
Look, the whole team. It's looked that way. The whole 4 weeks. That team has gave up on him.
Oh, and yeah.
It has only gotten worse.
And I can't argue it.
Them boys are not tackling. They look unprepared. Daniel Jones, reason why I keep going back to the O-line, yeah, half of it is his fault because I seen it for my own eyes today. Mm-hmm. I finally looked at the film. You know why he's acting like that and he's not going through his progressions like he was last year? Last year, he wasn't scared to be in that pocket. This year, he is scared, and when he gets scared, he doesn't know what to do.
Right, and that's why I don't put it all on him because our line hasn't given him a reason to not be scared.
But I just feel like it looks like to me like they've been gave up on him.
I don't know. I mean, if I'm being 100% here, I have to say, whether they've given up on him or not, wouldn't you want that known last year before they actually went out and reached and gave him a, $40 million a year, potentially a $40 million a year contract?
Yeah. I
would. Now that they know they're stuck with him this year and possibly next year, most likely next year.
No, I think they're going to eat that money. They're going to eat it.
You think so?
Yeah. They're going to go get, me personally, I also seen today that, the only way that Caleb Williams will leave USC is that he's got a couple teams that he wants to play for.
Right.
And so happened to be our name was in that bunch. So for what I'm saying is, if we're going to go ahead and tank, we might as well go ahead and do it now. Just eat Daniel Jones' money up and go ahead and invest in Caleb Williams.
Well, I said that on Sneaky G-Man show last night. I said, you know what? Why don't we send a message? Why don't we sit Daniel Jones down? Let Tyrod Taylor be the bridge man. Let's send that message to Daniel that, you know what? You're not doing any better. Let's put in Tyrod. Let him show you what a little bit of focus might look like, you know. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Tyrod won't do much better, but I think him being a vet would know what rookie mistakes are. And again, I told Sneaky G-Man last night, I said, here's where you see the difference at. I truly believe that Tyrod Taylor would have been one of the top quarterbacks in this league had the issue of him getting he had to get a shot while he was on the sideline, and they punctured his lung with that needle. So he ended up missing a lot of games because of that. And after that, his career wasn't the same it was, and he was on his way up. But I mean, you know, if that's what we're really going to do, if we're going to technically tank for, you know, Caleb Williams, then, you know, I mean, let Tyrod be the bridge, you know, because who you really gonna, you're not going to want this young kid to come in and learn from Daniel Jones, because Daniel Jones.
But you know what sucks though? You know what actually sucks though?
What's up?
I mean, you can go ahead and put him in there, and guess what? We're gonna get the same results.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We might get a little bit more better quarterback play, but we ain't gonna get the same. We ain't gonna get different results. Like we sitting there like the Giants is one quarterback away from something. Because you can stick anybody behind that O line we got, they just ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
Well, problem one was Dave Gettleman thinking that you build a team by getting your quarterback first and building around. Everybody that's successful in this league, including Giants past, knows that you build your O-line first, and then you draft or you know, trade for the quarterback that you want. You know, defense is going to be defense. You know, if they're bad, they're bad. If they're good, they're good. You know, and like you said, a lot of times the defense will feed off the offense. If the offense is given nothing, what does the defense have to feed off of? I mean, again, the only fight I saw out of the Giants on Monday night was the actual fighting with the other team.
That was it.
In fact, the only real thing they're fighting for at this point is the first pick in the draft.
That's it. That's what I'm saying, Anthony.
A lot of people are saying that Chicago's going to draft Caleb. That, you know, they're
gonna win more games before they're gonna win more games than we do.
Oh, I think so too. And you know, it's tough, man. It's just tough to watch, man. It's tough to talk about.
He got some nerve. He you know who he is? He's the Eric Flowers 2.0.
Yeah.
Don't shit him out. Well, another Nate Solder. They're gonna end up getting money.
Well, at least Nate Solder had a good start to his career. When he came to the Giants, he was on the back end of it.
Yeah, he was all good for Tom Brady in them 3 Super Bowls.
True. No, you're right. But again, like, I don't want to call Evan Neal Eric Flowers, because right now I'm putting Eric Flowers over Evan Neal, because even when Eric Flowers got traded, did not talk a lick about the Giants. Nothing bad, nothing. He either didn't talk about them, or if he did, it was short and you know, basically unattractive. I mean, it's, you know, you saw James Bradbury was bitter that he got let go. Nobody wanted to pay you that much money here. And again, I can't blame Joe Shane. This poor guy's trying to get us out of the cap hell that Dave Gettleman put us in.
Yeah.
So it's Stefan just came in. Hey, Steph, I'm going to send out the link, but if you want to come on, we can talk about it. Let me get it in.
Oh, does it cost extra for you to get everybody in here?
No, I can get a bunch of people in at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was wondering why you do it one at a time.
Well, I do it one at a time because I want everybody to have their chance. You know what I mean? Their
okay.
You know, their bit of time. But yeah, absolutely. The only thing I don't like is a lot of times we'll put a bunch of people in and everybody tries to talk over each other, especially when, you know, especially the younger kids when they get a little hurt about what was saying, you know, what they were saying. So listen, guys, I just sent out the link again. Click on it. You'll come in. You'll pop up in my backstage, and I'll see you back there. That's how I saw Daryl before I brought him in. Anybody that pops up in my backstage, I'll be more than happy to bring in. You don't have to put your face up like Daryl's doing. He's got a nice picture in there. Can't tell what it is. Looks like serial killers.
Yeah.
My man.
It was a diamond painting, and each one, like Jason's got Hellraiser. It has
oh yeah, I like that.
It's got Jaws in it. It's got Michael in it. It's got Freddy,
cool.
And all those people. I think I have personality out of all of them. You know
There
what
you
I'm saying?
go. I hear you, man. I hear
So,
you.
but man, our football season is like you said the other night. I could see, man, you was really hurt,
Yeah.
and I totally agree with you.
It's it's
Our
it's
season
painful to
is
watch.
over. Our season is over.
I'm still holding on to a little bit of glimmer of hope. And again, it's just a little, it's a little that little bit, a little glimmer of hope is what I'm holding on for right now. It's I'm trying hard not to think that it's over. I mean, we are a quarter of the way through the season, but again, if we can show traces of what we did last year and put some fight into these games to where we're only losing by 3 points or a point, but we're showing some fight during the game, we're showing that, hey, we're not going to let you kick us around like they've done every game, including the Cardinals game in the first half, then maybe, we'll have something to cheer about. But when you're constantly giving us, a bread basket full of crap, then what do you expect us to do? You're not giving us any hope that things are going to get better. People want to sit here and go, well, let's get, Andrew Thomas back and, we'll be back where we should. No. Andrew Thomas was there when we got our asses handed to us week 1, 40-0. And Daniel was running for his life.
You know what? We cannot. You know what they're doing this year, and it seems different. Last year we wasn't winning because of Daniel. This year they're trying to win. They're trying to win because of him.
Well, last year we won because we were a team. The defense played because they felt good about what they were doing. The offense felt good about what they were doing. Daniel Jones and Saquon complement each other perfectly last year. Things were starting to click. And again, that's why we were sold this false hope for this year. That's why we all went into this year with super expectations. Again, Sneaky G-Man will tell you, I'm a pessimist. So although deep down in my heart, I wanted to be on board with all these people and this super hope that we're going to take the next level in the playoffs. We're going to get into the division and we're going to beat whoever's in that divisional round. I want to do that. But at the same time, I realized we basically went from the toilet bowl to a playoff winner. That's why I said I'm surprised, but I'm happy surprised. So I'll give you a good example. When we beat the Dallas Cowboys for Super Bowl 42, when we beat the Dallas Cowboys, that game I would have been fine with right there. If we went to Green Bay and lost, I'd have been fine with it. We went to the Super Bowl and lost, I would have been upset, but I would have been fine with it. Because nobody expected us to beat the Cowboys that year. The Cowboys didn't expect us to beat them. Jerry Jones was putting the players' tickets on their seats before the game even started.
Yeah. Hey, Anthony, check this out.
Go ahead.
You give Daniel Jones Eli Manning's O-line.
Oh, yeah, I think he'll be better.
Oh, he wouldn't be better. He would play perfect with that O-line.
I would love to say you're right. I would love to say you're right, but I don't know.
If you give Daniel Jones San Francisco offensive line, I think he would play better. You got to have people around him. If you don't have enough reinforcements around him, he gonna give you exactly what he's giving you now. If you gave him an offensive line and he knows he got time to stand upright, I promise you that man will deliver the ball downfield.
But again, this is why we're so pissed off as fans. Because our offensive line looked better last year. Daniel had time.
It did.
And I told Sneaky G-Man last night. He's actually here now. Steph, if you want, chime in here. I said to him last night, one of the reasons it's so bothersome, and it could be one of, if not the main reason, is because we didn't trade off anybody or let anybody particular go. We still have the same core of guys. Why is the same core of guys that did so well last year doing so poorly this year? Is it because, like I said, because we didn't play up to the the schedule that we were given this year? Were we actually given a weak schedule last year? This is why when people get into the schedule and on paper, I'm not a fan of that stuff. You want to prove stuff to me? Get on the field and do your job. That's what I want to see. But we don't know. Like, we saw something last year out of Daniel Jones that gave us the hope that, you know what, we're on our way. We're on our way to being competitive every year. We're on our way to, at the very least, be in the hunt by the last week of the season. You know what I mean? We're proving nothing right now. We're proving we're the opposite.
Why did they take a step back is the question we got to ask ourselves.
And that's the problem. Because again, and I brought this up to Sneaky G-Man last night. I've been hearing rumblings. I don't know how much how true they are or not. Maybe it's a rumor that somebody made up. That's, if you think about it, kind of clicks. It's almost like a conspiracy theory. You know, you don't want to believe it because it sounds weird, but you have to think that there might be a chance that it might be true because it's not so outlandish. And my thing on that is, I've heard rumors that John Mara legitimately, I don't know if he threatened Joe Shane, but legitimately said, I want this kid signed. Get him signed at any cost. Because that's if you put that compared to what we're seeing now, and that's why I'm starting to say, you know what? John Mara's starting to sound like Jerry Jones. And I'm not bringing Steve Tisch into it because that's not the name that came up. It was John Mara. And again, I don't know if it's true, but seeing what's going on and the fact that they gave him that much money, and again, I've tried to argue that you know, if you compare Daniel Jones's contract to the guys that got the big bags, then it's kind of fair. However, Daniel Jones did get a big bag for a guy that you know, first 3 years weren't up to par. They weren't even good for whatever reason. He had a great year last year, one good year, and they gave him that kind of money. My thing is, if I was the owner, I'd say, listen, Daniel, you don't want the tag? That's fine. We'll pay you $30 million this year for a 1 year prove it deal. Let's do that. And then maybe throw a little bit more money at Saquon, or hit Saquon with the tag too, or hit Daniel Jones with the tag and then pay Saquon a little more, or vice versa. Or here you go, don't tag anybody. Give them the money to say, hey, here's a prove it year. Prove it. You know, he can come out and say, oh, well, I was great this past year. But if you're the owner or the GM and you're on the same page, you can literally look this kid in his face and say, well, out of the 4 years you were here, yeah, you had a great year this year. Yeah, that's fine. We just want to make sure that you're going to keep getting better, that we're not going to take 10 steps back. And you can almost say the same thing with Saquon. Saquon, we're so happy that, you know, you're back to form. You're back to being the Saquon Barkley that we drafted, you know, John Mara speaking, that we drafted. You know, you're the guy that you're starting to become that guy again that, we're expecting to carry a lot of the load on this team. But you had one good year after all those years of injuries. Let's put you back on the field. We'll give you some decent money this year. We'll give you 15. We won't give you the 16 that you may or may not have been asking for. We'll give you 15 million for 1 year, or we'll give you 13 million with $2 million in incentives, however they want to work it, and say, you know what? You think you're worth it? Prove it. Daniel Jones, you think you're worth it after one good year? Prove it. That's where the mistake comes in. Yeah. And everybody said that he's not a franchise quarterback.
He's not. And I'm starting.
He's proven that, though. He's proving that now.
Yeah, he is.
Franchise quarterbacks have more than one good season. And not all the time, most of the time, they progress. See, again, it's one thing to say take a step back. What Daniel Jones did has fallen backwards and stumbled down some stairs on his way down.
Yeah, hit his head. He hit it.
I mean, literally. And again, I'm not taking any emphasis on how bad our offensive line is, because you said it yourself. If our offensive line was better, Daniel Jones would be better. And I'm on board with that. And here's why. Because of the rookie mistakes that I'm saying Daniel Jones is making, if the offensive line was doing their job, Daniel Jones would be more confident like he was this last year and wouldn't have to revert back to those feelings because he knows what it's like to keep the ball rolling. Now, Daniel Jones, and again, I'm defending him now. I'm playing the other side.
I don't want to defend him either, but man, when I see that boy get fired up, he got that ball rolling. That's when he's fired up, though.
Yeah, but you also got to understand, too, as a quarterback, you are the team leader, whether you want to be or not. If your head coach has to come to the sideline almost every series, and again, I'm just putting words in it because he did say he has to motivate the kid. But if your coach has to come to the line and constantly motivate you, are you a leader? Are you a franchise quarterback? I'm going to say no. Josh Allen didn't have a great year last year. He had a good year, a very good year, but he didn't have the year he had the year or two prior. But what did he do? He fixed the problem, came back, and he's playing great this year. The dude's playing lights out again. That's what we kind of expected of Daniel Jones, not to play lights out, but to get better. And he got worse. And again, this is why I'm saying, and I'm gonna say this a lot. This is why it's from the top to the bottom. If the quarterback's not working, if the running back's not working, if the tackles and guards and center ain't working, if the wide receivers and tight ends ain't working, if your fullbacks ain't working, if your corners, your safeties, your whole football team isn't working, then you're not going to win games.
No,
so
not at all.
And I'm on board with you, like they've given up. But if that's how you are as a collective, then don't expect what's going on now to ever change. Because that, in so many words, makes you a piece of shit.
It does, very much so.
You're literally saying what I said at the beginning of the show. I got my bag. I'm done. Do what you want. But Evan Neal has a little bit of feelings, okay? And he's a little upset that the fans are booing him, okay? But you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup. You're a professional football player. You are paid to be better. You know, when you get drafted, we expect things. We expect things bad to happen year one and even into year two. But when you talk about all this stuff you did in the offseason and you know, learning from a Hall of Fame lineman in Willie Anderson, and you're doing all these things and you're promoting yourself, we expect you to come out a lot better than you're showing. Because I can guarantee you, Willie Anderson isn't coming out like that.
No.
So again, is it just Daniel Jones that needs motivation? Is Evan Neal, becoming soft because he's being booed? Most professional players will tell you, I kind of don't listen to it because I'm focused on the game.
He's just mad because he's getting pushed around on that line.
But why are you getting mad at the fans for booing? Be mad at yourself because you're not who you sold us.
His feelings is hurt. That's all it is. They need to see now. See, I would bench his ass and put Justin Pugh back over there on that right side.
Question of the day from Sneaky G-Man. The $1 million question: why are we this bad with good talent? And again, it goes back to what I said. We have the same core of guys here that we had last year with additional talent.
Go ahead,
Darren Waller, with Bobby Okereke, with Isaiah Simmons. These guys are step-ups from what we had, and we're doing worse. Why? That's what I want to know. Why? Why we can't get this right? And I don't want to blame Daboll, and I don't want to blame Wink like Thibodeau's doing. Again, throwing our own players under the bus. Like, did they think this was going to be good?
Whoa. You said somebody who's throwing who up under the bus?
Kayvon Thibodeau threw, so fans are complaining that Kayvon Thibodeau is not playing up to his potential. He's not getting the sacks. We talked about this, I think, last week a little bit, how the part of the reason he's not getting what he's doing is because he lacks a bull rush. And he's being pushed to the outside. Yeah, he's got great speed, but if a legitimate tackle is pushing you the hell out away from the quarterback so that you can't get around them fast enough to get to the quarterback, you're not going to be who we want you to be because you lack the pass rush. Now, that's what we talked about. Right after we talked about that, it came out that Kayvon Thibodeau is saying it's Wink's system. Now, that's bullshit right off the bat because I don't know any other offensive or defensive coordinator that plays as aggressively as Wink's system. So having said that, I don't understand it. So is Kayvon, what you're basically saying to us is Wink doesn't want you to rush the passer. Is that what you're saying? Because a Wink system, you can't rush the passer. That's your job, dude. He's not asking you to guard a wide receiver or a tight end. He's asking you to sack the quarterback. He's asking you to cause pressure. And you do. I'm not killing you. But to throw your defensive coordinator under the bus after everybody was kissing his ass last year, well, where's the difference? I don't get it.
You know, what's name had a good game too. He played all game. I was surprised the hell out of me.
Who's that?
Joe Jolari.
Oh, Jolari, yeah. But you know what?
But he had a lot of pressures in that game.
Well, the practice list came out today, and Saquon is still practicing limited. John Michael Schmitz, which I didn't realize was taken out of the game yesterday or Monday night because he got hurt. So he didn't practice at all today, which is not a good sign because he's been our most consistent lineman. Andrew Thomas was still limited, but I think things are getting better. We have who else is out? I think Isaiah Simmons is not out, but playing limited. I think he, hurt his knee a little bit. We got this list of guys, and it's starting to become the guys that are most consistent in playing. Again, that reeks about the guys that aren't playing. Maybe our center wouldn't get hurt if he's not trying to do the job of two guys. Maybe Andrew Thomas wouldn't be hurt if he's not trying to do the job of two guys. There's so many questions and we don't have the answers, which is why I'm trying to throw out there conspiracy theories or what I think it may be or what this person may think it might be, because we don't know. The coaches aren't going to come out and tell us. They're not going to throw their guys under the bus like the players do and have been so far. We're not going to. Yeah, that's right. Daniel Bellinger got hurt too. Off
that quarterback sneak. Yeah. That's how they all got hurt. They all got hurt off that quarterback sneak.
Yeah. And again, if you look at the plays, they reverted because we weren't doing anything but getting the swing passes with Wandell. Wandell had a hell of a game. Hell of a game.
Seeing those, all of them to Wandell or Paris Campbell. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I truly believe if they would have went with, and they tried to, the running back core of Breida and Brightwell, which they did, but I think they were both ran the wrong way. I think Brightwell should have been pounding the line. Yes, he would have lost some yards based on how our offensive line was playing, but you wear the offensive line out when you got it's pounding on you. Then when you wear the guy out, you put in Breida for your second or third down. Because let's face facts here, we weren't moving the ball much on first down anyway. But again, if you have a big, hungry back, even if he's not making yards, he's helping do the job that the offensive line's not doing, which is pounding these guys down and wearing them down. Because when you do that, maybe your second half isn't as bad as your first half. We don't even do that.
I also think if we could focus on getting that offensive line healthy and get all the starters back on the offensive line, and get them to start playing good, I think that'll wake up the offense. Until we get that problem fixed, we're not going to get Daniel out of his scared stage. And I mean that to me, that's just point blank and period. Because without that offensive line, we're one hot garbage.
Right. And the only thing I think we can do at this point is make trades.
It's bad when you know your hard garbage when other teams start taking up for your own quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay? So it's, but it all like I said, you could put any quarterback you want to back there.
Right. Hey, I'll even go as far as saying this, and I don't agree with this guy often. It's very few and far between. Colin Cowherd basically said, trade Daniel Jones. You will get something for him. And the reason he says you will get something for Daniel Jones is he has proven that he can be a good quarterback. Nobody's saying he's going to be a superstar, but he can be a good quarterback. He has proven that here and there. But if the Cowboys are willing to pay for Trey Lance, and I do think Daniel Jones is slightly better than Trey Lance, then why wouldn't we be able to get something for Daniel Jones? Maybe a 5th or 6th round pick.
They both try to put that pressure on him, like if he was a Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen,
and he can't take that pressure. And I've gone back to this.
Runner. Also, he's not a runner like that. He can't get up there and juke a motherfucker. He got to build up his speed.
Right.
Once he builds up his speed, he'll outrun your ass for real. Yeah. but he can't juke you and all that like Lamar Jackson and
Right.
Michael Vick, you know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
another way that they're trying to use him, and he's not built like that.
No, and you're right. And I don't want to use him like that ever, because let's face
But it
facts
seems
here.
like that's how they're using him.
Oh, I know. They're
Hey,
trying to turn him into Josh Allen is what they're trying to do. The
yeah,
problem
you
with
can't
that
do
is you get quarterbacks running a lot. Those are the quarterbacks that only have a 4 or 5 year career. And the fact that he's already in year 5, he may only have a couple more years, which is, again, is why I think the Giants have an out after the second year.
I say we just go ahead and eat up that money. I'm telling you, man, we should just go ahead and take this.
At this point, something has to be done. Something. I don't know what.
Yeah, they need to go back to
them signing Justin Pugh to the practice squad was a little glimmer of hope. I hope something good comes out of it, but we don't know. He hasn't played in over a year. He's coming off of I believe it's a MCL injury or an ACL, one of the two. He's coming off a major injury, and he wants to play for the Giants, so that helps. But could he be a step up from some of these guys? Yeah. But he could also be just as bad, which, again, I appreciate them signing him to the practice squad. If they bring him up, I'm sure there's an incentive to pay him a little more, which he clearly is fine with. But, I'm anxious to see. Something's got to change. Something's got to happen. So
we can go if we because even if we don't get Caleb Williams, we can end up getting that boy May from North Carolina.
Right.
Because we're going to be up there. We're going to be up there in the draft. I'm going to tell you that now.
Right. Oh, yeah, I think so, too.
I would really want to get my hands on Caleb Williams, but I would go through free agency and pick up some more, get much linemen as you can. I wouldn't even focus on the other positions until you start stacking up that O-line.
Right.
You got to stack up. I'm sorry, Ed, that I keep going back to the O-line, but
no, it's fine.
That's how I believe you win games.
Straight I agree with you.
I mean, Saquon Barkley ain't going to be able to do what he need to do if he ain't got no O-line.
You're right. You're 100% right. I can't.
We're never going to. As long as we keep Saquon Barkley, we'll never see him as a rookie or as his 4th year in the league last year.
5th year.
5th year.
Yeah, I believe he's in his 5th year.
Okay, because we're not going to see Saquon Barkley like he was at Penn State. He had an offensive line at Penn State, right?
True. I mean, Saquon in his first year, we didn't have a great line then either, because if you remember, that's the same line we came out of Eli with, which we clearly complained that Eli's last 4 or 5 years in the league, he probably could have won more games and probably could have brought us to the playoffs more. But again, we're constantly screaming for an O-line then, and nothing was done. So again, it's like the same old thing over and over and over again. We need to again, it's not only just about drafting guys because they're young and because potentially they could be something. We got to mix it up with good, solid veterans too. We got to put out a little money and grab these top-notch guys that are, we know are going to be
exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. We got to go after the ones that we know going to produce right off the jump. Right. Now, if you want to throw a couple new and then a couple of veterans, that's cool with me. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but I hear you.
I don't know. But you got some other homies you want to get in here. I know that for sure.
Nah, actually, we've pretty much taken up all the time because it's about 1 minute to 9, so that's pretty much it for us tonight.
You should, next week you ought to try, to bring us all in at the same time.
Oh, I definitely will.
Because I'm usually quiet, so I like to listen to what everybody got to say. So right. I'm.
Well, to be honest with you, this week you're the only one that chimed in the backstage. I mean, we have some guys watching and posting up comments and stuff. Sometimes they don't want to come in, which is fine. But I think thank you, by the way. Thank you for keeping this conversation going for an hour. I mean, I think I went on myself for like 10, 15 minutes. So that means we filled up a nice big spot. We talked about what we had to, and we'll go on from here, and it'll give us something more to talk about next week. And I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of crap more coming out.
Well, you already know we're going to lose this week, so we're going to be 1-4.
Pretty much. Hey, Daryl, man.
Because they mad right now.
Oh, yeah.
Miami mad.
We all are. Hey, Daryl, man, thanks for coming on, man. Hope to see you next week.
Oh, yeah. It's fine.
Yep, absolutely. And I guess we'll just we'll chalk it up and chop it up next week and see what the hell happens the rest of this week. So Till next week, man. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, brother?
All right, Ant. See you next week, bro.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too.
So we basically talked about a lot of stuff tonight, particularly the loss. That's what it comes down to. I've tried to play devil's advocate, play the ball both ways. I've talked about some conspiracies. There's a lot out there to think about because clearly it's not working. Whatever they're doing is not working. Something needs to be changed. I don't know what because there's too many things that are going wrong. So I can't sit here and say it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. It's a mixture of everything. Daniel Jones isn't playing well. I think mostly because the offensive line is trash. And then, like Daryl said, the rest of the team is feeding off of that. Why should they play their asses off? And again, I know they're professionals, and I have screamed at them for being professionals, and you got to go out there and do your job. That's what you're getting paid for. But if you're quitting on your team, it doesn't make things better for anybody. It doesn't make things easier for anybody. And then when you comment about the fans being upset, it just makes you look like a jackass. And again, I'm not trying to shit on Evan Neal. I know he's upset, but you don't come at the fans for that. Don't tell the fans how you're getting better. Keep playing. Put it out there. Show us. That's the problem with all these players that talk. We don't want to hear you're getting better. Daniel Jones, we don't want to hear that, you're going to get better. You should have been better already. It's nice that you're going to get better, but you're in your 5th year, dude. Something's got to start working. And now. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not the next day. Now. Things have to change. Things have to get better. All right, guys, that's all I got for tonight. I appreciate Daryl coming in. We had a nice long conversation. I'm sure we could have went on for another hour or two. But I start back at work tomorrow, so I have to get to bed a little earlier tonight. Again, thank everybody for coming in. Thanks, Sneaky G-Man, Austin, Vince. I see you were in here. I think we had a couple more people come in, a couple of Facebook people that, we couldn't get your names. But again, guys, I appreciate everybody for coming in. It was a nice, really good show tonight. Again, we only had the one person come in to talk with, and believe me, it was more than enough. So till next week, guys, I appreciate you all. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.
Ain't this the hardest you ever heard? Ain't this the hardest you ever heard? Bass make my face hurt. Shake break my framework when the bass jerk like quick earth.